Are we starting now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
Are you about to freestyle rap?
Yeah. Like my mic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's your mic at?
Oh, yeah.
Let's get that in frame, dude. Here we are.
Give me un momento.
Episode 3. We are back, ready to wreck you with another episode of Idiot Savants, baby.
Baby.
We got copious amounts of spoofs and goofs. Oh yeah, everything in between.
Yeah, it's almost Halloween, so
I'm excited.
we're going to be staring in your window very soon.
It is almost Halloween. I didn't even realize that. Wow. Time is literally flying way faster.
This year went by really fast.
I think way too fast. I think, is it age?
I brought urine today.
Yes. Urine Brothers. Mine looks
Yours
a little
looks
more...
really clear. This is dehydrated. You drank lots of water today.
We're Urine Brothers tonight. Of course, mine's always whiskey. Always Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Sponsored.
This is pineapple juice.
Okay. Nate's more healthy in the evening, I feel. I feel like you don't drink as much.
Oh, I don't have whiskey, but I feel like I should get some.
Yeah.
So we can. So I'll get some next time I go to the
I
grocery.
don't want you to start a habit or anything.
It's a lot of peer pressure right now, and I'm not comfortable with it.
Just saying, I feel like I have a problem because freaking the only one drinking in these podcast sessions.
Yeah, all right. I'll rise to the occasion.
It's okay. I was just asking if you drink a lot or not. You just kind of on occasion, like once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks.
Well, like when I went to Miami, the difficult part is that I always have crew. So, not that that's a bad thing. It just doesn't allow for much tomfoolery. So, but when I went to Miami, I drank. We drank on the beach, and though I will say, we drank a lot on the beach. And I think it was so hot that I just sweated out. So, like, I didn't get drunk at all. But then we went to this bar on South Beach, and I bought a $45 margarita. Let that sink in.
What? 45?
All right, we're back, ladies. $45 margarita. Now, it was a fishbowl, so it was like, it was decent size, you know.
Still, 45. Wow.
And then the waiter or the server or the bartender was like talking really fast, and he or she, I can't remember, was like, so do you want the 6 shots with that? I'm like, does it not come with alcohol? She's like, or he, I can't honestly remember. I think it was a guy at one point and then a girl maybe, but
you were drunk.
He's like, oh no, it comes with liquor, but you can get 6 extra shots for $2 a piece. And I'm like, okay, well, how much are they normally? He's like, well, normally by themselves they are, I want to say he said like $6 a piece, maybe more.
Yeah.
And he says, but when you buy them with the margarita, you get them for $2 a piece. So how many do you want? I'm like, well, guess I'm getting 6 because that's like a crazy deal.
Yeah. That's what I'm
So he brings back the $45 margarita, and then we pour in, which already had liquor in it, and then we poured all the shots of tequila in it. So, but I will say at no point during that trip did I get like blackout drunk. So I just don't know if I have it in me. I feel the next day I felt fine. So I don't know. I don't drink a whole lot, but you know, when I do, I drink Dos Equis.
It's heroin. That's your drug of choice.
Yeah, I go straight from the black tar heroin.
Oh yeah, that's the best kind. If you've never done black tar heroin, I highly recommend it.
Sponsored by Black Tar Heroin.
Because that will take you places that you didn't think existed. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I would know from experience. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That stuff scares me.
We just lost everyone.
I know.
Everyone tuned out at Black Tar Heroin.
They're like, what?
Man, this got dark.
P.S. I've been getting messages and stuff about our podcast. Good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. From random people that I don't even know. I know like 2 people that I don't really know very well. And yeah, I was like, interesting podcast. I'll keep listening. I was like, oh, nice, thanks.
Oh, daddy like. Yeah.
Like I said before, I didn't think anybody would really care because there's so many podcasts out there. There's so much information. There's so many things online that you can do, and we're just idiot savants over here, chilling. I'm just grateful for anybody listening. I guess I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
I think one thing that we can do, like when we post it, is we'll post like a couple like things that we talk about, like podcast number 3 talking about blah 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 whatever in the comments. So I know everybody's time is very precious, so we appreciate it if you listen. And if there's something in the index, if you will, of what we're going to talk about that you're interested in.
Mallory
and again, if there's things that you want us to talk about, then let us know.
Yeah, Mallory didn't mention she would like us to do live eventually. I feel like that's down the road for us eventually.
Yeah, I think we could, once we get a few of these under our belt and we're more comfortable. Mm-hmm. The only downside with live is just not being able to edit, obviously. So
that's why we have to be on our toes.
Yeah, like most podcasters that I know do live, but they do it like way down the road. So, but I mean, I don't know. If we do Facebook Live, it's just friends of ours, so
right.
It's not soon.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick before we get too deep into it.
Okay.
This past Monday was my mother's birthday.
Oh, nice.
So happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday, Cindy.
Yeah. It was good. I got to see her. I went to Ohio, so I got to see my mom, and then my brother who's in the Navy, has been in Hawaii for a while, but he got a little bit of time. He's for the last, like he said, pretty much the last 10 months he's been in a submarine.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty intense, but
crazy.
He's pretty much wrapping up. I think he's trying to decide if he's going to re-enlist or not. But he's going to now, instead of being stationed in Hawaii, it looks like he'll probably be stationed on the west coast of the United States. So, his plane ticket to get to Ohio was like $2,500 or something ridiculous. So
yeah,
now it won't be as expensive to go visit him.
Wow,
if we wanted to. But yeah, happy birthday, Mom.
Yes, happy birthday, happy late birthday.
Yeah, I'm terrible. I always forget people's birthdays. I'm not very good at that.
Dude, same here.
She doesn't have Facebook, so it doesn't remind me.
There you go. See, I rely on Facebook too much for birthdays. Yeah. I only know roundabouts, for you, some of my closest friends like you, Chris and Josh and Bobby, and my immediate family. That's it. That's the only birthdays I know.
Chris, Josh, me, or you and myself we're all pretty close.
Yeah, January, February, that's you, and
late
March.
February, and then late March.
Mm-hmm. So I know roundabouts, and I kind of rely on Facebook for birthdays, and I feel like most people can relate because.
Yeah, I think you're lying if you say you don't. So.
Yeah. There's a couple people I think about. I'm like, oh crap, did I miss their birthday? And I have to go check on Facebook. Another good friend of mine who I try to keep track of. Which I was thinking about. I want to get Chris Workman on the podcast. Do you think he'd be down?
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him and see what, because he works a lot now. So.
You're right.
Not that he didn't work a lot before, but he has to get up really early. Right. So I'll talk to him and see. Right. See what the sitch is.
Correspond with that mug and see what happens. I've been talking to a couple people just to see if they're interested. They're just, just asking hey, would you be interested in this? And everyone's usually yeah. I haven't asked Josh yet, and that's the first guy we're trying to get right. I gotta ask him. Yeah. Do you want to shoot for next week? I'll message him. That's good for me. Let's do it. We'll get Daughter. We'll get Bobby. We'll get Chris on here. We'll get everybody. But I'll hit Josh up, see what he's doing. And
all right, so I had a couple topics.
All right, shoot. I have some as well.
Well, maybe they line up.
Maybe.
I will say, got another hurricane coming.
Right.
It'd be like it's supposed to be maybe in Florida on like Saturday night or Sunday. So, got a couple days. Get out of there.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
The governor or whatever of Florida said, "We can rebuild your homes, but we can't rebuild you," and that is true.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's we've had like 2 record-breaking hurricanes.
Do you think it's due to global warming? Not to get controversial.
My mom had a theory that it's maybe because of this solar eclipse. I don't know.
That's another.
I do know that our tides, and I'm not super knowledgeable in this, so I'll just go ahead and say it and be wrong. But I know our moon, it has some control over the tides.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
So
I've read that
would
before.
have anything to do with hurricanes. Hopefully somebody can explain that to us. But yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe it's end of days.
I could only imagine what religious groups are thinking about this at this moment, because it's a perfect time to definitely have prophetic, end times, like rhetoric going on right now. Like, we just had the biggest hurricane ever. Here's another one. Here comes another one. We had the eclipse, and California's on fire right now. Like, this is definitely
Montana's on fire.
There is definitely. This is stuff I hate, by the way, when it comes. Like, certain Christians believe that God is doing this, and I don't believe that personally. That God's responsible for natural disasters or whatever. I know we were raised to believe that, like, God's punishing so and so or this country or this state for this and that. Like I told. Did I say it last week? I read somewhere that Houston was being judged because they elected like some woman who believes in abortion or something. So that's God. Like, when Jesus was here on earth and there was a major storm going on, he's the one that calmed it. That should tell you that the storm that was happening outside was demonic. You know, Jesus came and died so we didn't have to. And he stopped the waves and all that stuff. Like, if our God's supposed to be good, like we say, then he's not a killer. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I've also
not to get too deep so early.
I've heard the other side of it too, where they're like, I heard somebody say that they prayed, and that's why Hurricane Harvey stopped.
Right. I've heard that too. We've heard that our whole lives.
Why did you wait until it dropped 50 inches of rain to pray? Why didn't you pray before it happened?
Right. I know you've heard it, and I know I've heard it from our previous affiliations of like someone praying something away.
Yeah. The rapture didn't happen because you prayed real hard.
And that's so ridiculous.
I didn't die because you prayed real hard.
Right. That kind of stuff angers me. Still to this day, I've been trying to work on it because it makes me mad.
Yeah.
That type of thinking, it's unhealthy. It's all fear-based, and that's not, I believe it's not how God is. And you might disagree, and if you do, you can go ahead and comment below, and there'll be a discussion, and I don't mind discussions in the comment section.
Yeah, just open conflict.
But not to get too serious. Wow.
We'll lighten it up a little bit.
I didn't mean to dive into this so
Let me get you a question. Let me hit you with one here.
Okay, hit me a question, dog.
What would you try if you had no fear?
If I had no fear?
No fear.
Good question.
I have a good answer for this.
Do you? Do you want to go first? Because I got to think. I don't know.
All right. No?
I'm thinking. But go ahead.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. I'm crazy afraid of heights.
Right.
Like, it's become worse as I get older, and I think a lot of it is in my head, maybe. But ever since I had my son, and by had my son, I meant his mother gave birth to him, and then I received him. I like get super high anxiety when we walk across the bridge. There's a walking bridge here in Jeffersonville. And it there's almost 0% chance of somebody falling off that bridge because they have it gated, but I get nervous, and the more I think about it, the more nervous I get. Anytime I go to a ledge, I get real nervous. So if I had no fear, I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures or the videos people take where they climb really high on like these skyscrapers, like as high as they can get. Mm-hmm. And then in one hand they're holding like a selfie stick, and the other hand they're holding on with one hand on the edge of the ledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, insane.
Yeah, it's insane. They're like,
it's baffling.
Their life is in the hands of the grip on their hands.
Yes.
It blows my mind, but I can't watch those videos. I can't. And there's another guy on Facebook where he'll go and he'll jump from like these ridiculous angles and ledges into water. And like one video, it was a video of him not making it, and he like broke both his legs and like destroyed them. And that didn't help my anxiety at all. So I think if I had no fear, I would do more things with heights.
Nice. You know why I think you're afraid?
Huh?
You know why I think you're afraid?
Why?
Because you fell off a cliff when you're like...
Oh, I didn't think about that, but I forgot you pushed me off a cliff when you were little. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into that a little bit. I forgot about that until just now.
How'd you forget about that, dude? Oh
well, I didn't forget about it, but I wasn't thinking about it.
That's why you're afraid of heights.
We were hiking at Mohican. It's in Ohio. It's like a state park or whatever. And I was pretty much attached to Bernie's hip at that point anyway, so we were like climbing up into the rocks, and I was in front of you or behind? I was behind you. You were in front of me. And like you had climbed to this ledge, and I'm right behind you, and I climb, and I slip off the ledge, and I fall. Mm-hmm. The way Bernie tells the story is that he heard a scream, and then he heard a thud on the ground.
Yes.
The real crappy part about it is, obviously, like, thankfully, the log that I landed on was rotted. It was dead. It broke my fall for sure and didn't break my back. But like the air was knocked out of me. You know when you get your air knocked out of you, you're like struggling to breathe, and you're trying to like, for whatever reason, catch your breath, but you can't breathe.
Yeah.
So you're right. Ever since then, I've been deathly afraid of heights. Like to the point where I remember the first time I rode the Millennium Falcon at Cedar Point. Or Millennium Force, not Millennium Falcon. Wait, is it the Millennium Force?
Millennium Force sounds more correct to me.
Yeah, not the Falcon. Not the Millennium Falcon. I think that's Star Wars.
Yes.
But the Millennium Force, I remember like it like click, 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 click all the way to the top. I remember the first time I rode that, I only did it because you guys were doing it, and I didn't want to seem like that guy that wouldn't ride roller coasters.
Scaredy cat, yeah.
Dude, I've done a lot of heights things in my life, and like been on the verge of tears the entire time. I can say that now because I'm 30 years old, and yeah.
You wanted to be a part of the pantheon, basically.
Yeah, well, I didn't want you guys to make fun of me, so
that's true. But yes, I just remember turning around, Nate's like on the ledge, and all of a sudden I think he slips, and all I see is his eyes get really wide, and he slips, and he just, all I hear is a poof. That's a long drop.
Yeah, let the record show. I think I was pushed. There was foul play afoot.
No, the only foul play is that I had a camera with me, and I looked over the edge, and I started taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then it took me like 15 minutes to climb back down this cliff, mountain, whatever it was. I'm climbing down, oh God, I hope he's not dead. So it's like 15 minutes straight of like panic. I'm like, please don't fall yourself. But we got to check on Nate. Come on, gotta go fast, but not too fast or you die. And then you get there and you're still laying there and you're just like moaning, like, I'm like, are you okay? Click. Are you alright, man?
Yeah, snap.
I had
smile for the camera.
And that was the beginning stages of me vlogging, which that's what I do now.
Yeah, that's your origin story.
Yeah, that's how I got into just my interest with cameras. I was like, I got to capture this moment for everyone to see. They're not going to believe it. But the crappy thing was, I think the pictures from when I was up top taking pictures of you, like they blurred out and they didn't turn out. So. Yeah,
well, it was a wind-up camera.
Yeah, it's a piece of.
You young kids won't know what that is.
No. It was an old wind-up piece of crap.
Yeah, I don't even think I have it. I might have some of those photos somewhere. I don't know.
But that's why you're afraid of heights. But for me, I am a kind of an adrenaline junkie myself. I like to try stuff I'm afraid of. So I'll pretty much try anything, like skydiving or anything that has to do with heights. I'll be a little bit scared, but I'm playing the odds. I'm like, I'll probably be okay. And if I'm not, then I hope I die real fast.
Yeah.
But the one thing that scares me almost to the point of not wanting to try it is something like maybe like deep sea diving or something that has to do with water. Water scares me more than heights. Like going deep,
really,
or the fear of drowning is a greater fear than anything heights wise. Yes.
Yeah. So the fear of the unknown depths. It's thalassophobia. I could be mispronouncing that, but I actually like water.
I love water.
But I don't like wading in the ocean.
I can do that a little bit. I'm afraid of sharks.
I mean, like if I'm talking like Titanic or something, like just wading out there in the middle of the ocean.
No way. That scares me.
Because it's so dark and so deep that you don't know what's down there.
Oh, absolutely not. That freaks me out. It's too vast for me to enjoy anything about that.
Let me give you I may have already said this, but I'm like real excited about the ocean. Did we already talk about Shark Week a couple weeks ago?
You mentioned it, but I told you that I didn't really watch it or something.
Oh, okay. Well, we've only mapped 5% of the ocean.
Yeah.
5%.
I read that. That's insane, dude.
That's wild.
It's fascinating.
I feel like we know more about space at this point than we do
exactly
the ocean on our planet.
That's insane, man.
I have a couple more questions, but we'll go along. What's your topic? What's the first thing you want to speak on?
Topic wise, like over this past weekend, for some reason, like every once in a while on YouTube, like I'll go off on a whole conspiracy theory tangent of videos that I don't know. I'll start on one, and it's not that I believe these conspiracy theories. They just kind of like, how do I put it? They just take me in basically, and I can't stop watching them. I'm just like, it's like watching a movie. Like I just let myself get into these stories and these crazy theories, but. So I mean,
are you persuaded easily?
Not really. I just think it's fun to watch. Like it's fun to me. I was wanting to bring up I was wanting to ask you if there's any conspiracy theories that you're kind of really into, or you really like to just research or watch videos on.
That's so funny that you say that, because we didn't plan this, but that's one of my things. That's one of my topics.
Well, I think that what they call that is in the spirit.
Audible. Sorry.
Nah, everyone's gonna get that joke, but it's okay. It's
like 5 people. All right. Yeah, dude. There's this show on Netflix.
Okay.
It's called Unidentified.
Intriguing.
It's newer, I think, but it's about the cover-up of aliens.
Ooh, I like
since the Roswell crashing.
Okay.
I've watched it twice now, and both times it was really late, and I kind of fell asleep during certain parts. But like, that's why I asked you if you're easily persuaded, because if the person seems like what they're talking about comes from an intelligence standpoint, like they did their research, and I think that's why we stayed in like the church that we were in for so long, because they have a lot of facts.
It's in depth for sure.
Right? They've done their research. I put it in quotation marks because I don't know, like whatever. I could be wrong, they could be wrong. But if they've done a lot of research. So like this alien thing, dude, like there are high people in our government. On FBI's website, there's actually a bunch of documents that were released, and one of the documents that released, it's the most looked at document that the FBI has declassified, and it talks about the Roswell crash that happened in whatever, I don't remember. It's basically what started Area 51.
Right.
But like if you listen to these guys talk, and we're talking about senators, congresspeople, defense, pilots. This one guy in there was like, I didn't believe in aliens until they called me one day. I was flying and they asked me to go to a specific location to check out an unidentified object. And then this guy gets there and he's like, it's a UFO. Like, in the way he explains it, and everybody's accounts, though the ships vary, like they all agree that. So I don't know, like I could go either way with it.
Right.
But this documentary, Unidentified, it's worth a watch. It's very informative. You can tell they've done their research. You can tell that they're intelligent, competent human beings.
Right.
Like, again, high-ranking officials. And then a lot of people are like, well, because most presidents say they don't know. And that apparently is true, because the presidents are on a don't need to know basis. So there are a lot of things that the president doesn't know, because if something were to happen, then they could say, well, I didn't know. Like, it's plausible deniability.
Right.
Which we can say, well, that's kind of crappy. He's the president. He should know everything.
Right.
But at the same time, like, if you found out tomorrow that aliens were real, it changes everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It changes how we live our life. It changes the economy. It changes religion. Not saying religion would go away, but it would change it.
Yeah.
No,
you think just think about like the water incident here in Texas, or the gas thing. Like, I don't know if you heard about that. Like, everyone freaked out because the gas was that's just gas. Imagine something life changing like an alien. This country would go, or the world would go insane.
The guy that does the documentary says that the aliens have the technology to make it so no one would ever work a day in their life. Fossil fuels would be unnecessary. So your economy would collapse. The technology that he's saying that they have would allow he was saying hundreds and hundreds of years ahead of ours. He may have even said 1,000 years. I don't know. But like, the problem is because we're putting more money into fighting each other than we are trying to further our, further our cause of whatever it may be, technology, education, those types of things. So I don't know. I think that's the one that right now at least, that I would be most inclined to believe just based off of that documentary. I recommend it. It's worth a listen, but
I'll check it out. There's just so many variables with aliens and UFOs. Like,
if you ever seen a UFO?
I have. You want me to tell you about it?
No.
Okay. I thought so. No one's really interested, but
I feel like I have too. But go ahead.
I was living in Orlando, Florida at the time, and I was with a church group, and we were traveling to. I forget where we were going. We were going somewhere to play or sing or something, and it was like a bus of like 8 or 10 of us, and we were. It was nighttime. I think we were heading home after the event, and we just like we had a good view of the sky, and someone happened to be like, "Hey, what are those lights up there?" There's like. It was like these red dots in a triangle, like massive, right in the middle of the sky, over the city. I want to say it was like Miami or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but there was a bunch of us in there, and like we all saw it, every single one of us. It wasn't like one of us saw it. No, it was all 8 to 10 of us. We're looking out the window, like, what is that? It's massive, and it's like slowly moving. And technically it is a UFO because it's unidentified flying object. To say it was alien or not, I'm not sure, but it's definitely way too big to be a man-made aircraft. And it was just insane to see, because you see videos like that on YouTube. These triangle-shaped light things. It's very common to see, but I actually saw that. And we all talked about it for like a good hour and a half. Half of us were like skeptical about it. We're just like, oh, it's something else. It's not alien, but we're just like, well, who knows though, right? I thought it was interesting, and it was very kind of eerie at the same time.
Well, this guy says that the government has done since the beginning. They've done everything they can to do two things: either make people that have seen aliens seem incompetent. So anytime you see like so-and-so saw an alien, it's usually like a redneck hillbilly, backwater, like so-and-so saw an alien. They're easy people to dismiss. And then the other way that they make aliens out to be enemies is from like the movie Alien, or they're coming here to suck out our brains or whatever. Like, but this guy says that the aliens that are on Earth, again, this is based on a documentary. If you're just tuning in, it's not something necessarily that we subscribe to. But he said the aliens that are on Earth are actually more concerned with how we are treating each other. They are not so much, they don't want to take over Earth. They are watching us and making sure that we don't destroy each other. And then they talk about an incident where we shot one of our nuclear weapons up into the space, because you shoot a nuclear weapon into space and it comes back down or whatever. And every nuclear missile, again, according to this guy, could be false. I just watched it the other night, but he said every nuclear missile that we've shot into space has blown up in space, has been shot down in space by something. So I will say, we can move on to the next topic, there are, in our galaxy alone, there are billions of stars.
Absolutely.
Billions. You can't fathom the number of stars that we have. Stars, not planets, stars.
Right.
And then around a lot of those stars are planets that orbit those stars, and then some of those planets are in what they call the habitable zone. Mm-hmm. Not too far away from the sun, not too close to the sun, where they can hold water, and water is one of the building blocks to life. And they don't find them all the time, but
don't they call
just
it the Goldilocks?
recently found, huh?
I was asking if they call it the Goldilocks zone. Is that what they call it?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
If not, they should.
Goldilocks zone. Continue.
But they recently found 3 planets in our galaxy that are in the Goldilocks zone. if you will. So, anyways, I mean, it's very egotistical of humans to think that we are the only life in this vast universe.
I agree 100%. That's so true.
That's my conspiracy theory.
It's an amazing one because I watched a lot of those UFO documentaries. There's a lot of crappy ones, but I want to check this one out.
Yeah, it just came out.
I'm really into it.
It's great.
I'm really into it. I'll tell you the one I'm interested in. The one that kind of like gets me thinking a lot. I've been watching this. It's not so much a theory. It's an actual thing. It's called the Bohemian Grove. Have you heard of that?
No.
You've never heard of the Bohemian Grove? Awesome, because you're gonna be interested and you're gonna look it up. It's basically a campground that's located in California, and each year they host like an all-male week-long or 2-week-long like camp for the most prominent men in the world. And when I say prominent, I mean like from U.S. presidents to like the most famous like male performers in the world. And so it's just the most powerful men in the world that get together, just men, in this like wooded glen, as they say. Basically it's just 2 weeks of heavy drinking, super secret talks, and like spooky rituals where they worship this large 40-foot owl in the middle of the woods. And there are actual photos of like presidents there, like President Reagan to Nixon, mostly like Republican like dudes. They're just hanging out, you know. And what's creepy, you've heard
it's like
of
the Illuminati.
It seems like that. It's very it's scary.
I'm on board.
So. And like, you know, I saw pictures and stuff. I'm like, that's crazy. And you hear all these stories, like there's male prostitutes and stuff, and there's just a whole lot of. So you're like, okay, that's interesting stories. You don't, you know, and even Nixon, he quote, like there's a recording of him online, like you can find it anywhere probably if you Google it. But he was quoted as saying it's like the faggiest thing you could ever imagine. That's his words. Not mine.
Yeah.
He literally said that.
That's crazy.
So you got this you got this place where they all go, like real influential people. They go, and you get a crazy guy like Alex Jones. I think you know who he is. He's he's a crazy man, right? In his own right. Well, he sneaks into this camp around like I think it was 2000, the year 2000. He gets him and a friend of his get a camera and they sneak in, and they film one of the ceremonies, and it's super creepy. You can YouTube it right now and see it, and it's basically you see this 40-foot owl, and like all right, hold on, you got this like there's a bunch of bleachers and stuff, and there's like hundreds of people, and then there's this like little. It's not a river, maybe it's like a small river, and then on the other side of it, they're doing the ceremony. It's just a bunch of people in cloaks. A bunch of people like dressed up, real dark. They have this 40-foot owl, and they do like this mock, what do you call it? Sacrifice.
Yeah.
So they sacrifice, like, but it's not a real person or anything. It's just like they say it's like a play or something. It's like this thing they do for fun. Yeah. But it's super freaky. Like they had this freaky music. This guy's talking in a weird voice on the microphone. He's like, it's super freaky, dude. And I'm like,
yeah.
So is this cool? I mean, is this cool for like our politicians to be just doing, just like pretend devil worshiping, if that's what it really is? Like this, like just I don't know. So. I enjoy suspending my belief, I guess, like I do with movies, but this one seems pretty real.
Yeah,
to a point.
Think,
I implore you to check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out because I think a lot of that stuff is, again, we get a lot of, we think it's not real And why do you think it's not real? We think it's not real because someone made fun of it. Like, for instance, aliens. We'll go back to that for a second. Or the Illuminati. You get all these rappers rapping about the Illuminati, and you're like, well, if it were real, they wouldn't talk about it as much as they do. Or if it were aliens, then, you know, you wouldn't have these hillbilly farmers in the woods that, you know, drinking too much whiskey, seeing aliens or whatever. But, like, there are real influential people that are doing some crazy things, and the only reason you don't believe in it is because you've got it set in your head that that's silly. Well, we didn't believe we could fly to the moon until we flew to the moon. Like, we didn't believe that there was, you know, the earth was round until we realized that the earth was flat, unless you're a flat earth believer, and then you're just insane. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't believe in those things until someone proved it to us. So that doesn't mean that it wasn't real. It just means that we hadn't maybe seen the evidence that we needed to see. I'm a big believer in things like that. I think that our politicians, I think there's a lot of things we don't know. I'm not going to speculate because I don't know, but, you know, like Illuminati, these types of ceremonies that you just talked about, I think those things happen. I think that, you know, it may not be necessarily a religious thing, but it's a cult type thing where, kind of like the Freemasons, right? Like, once you're, like, that's a real thing. And we know that's a real thing because there's so much documentation of it. But if somebody said, hey, Freemasons, and you took away all the evidence, you would very easily be like, oh, that's not real.
Oh, that stuff's interesting.
What's it called again?
The Bohemian Grove.
All right, I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, you can check. I would suggest, like, you know, reading up on it, and then, like, obviously watch that Alex Jones video. Even though he's crazy, but he did break into that place. And he's wild. Yeah, and he didn't give a crap, dude. He's like, I'm breaking in. We're busting this open, wide open. And then he also, there's another video. Yeah, there's another video of him confronting. I'm not sure if it's a senator or a governor or something. He, like, goes up to him. He's interviewing him, and he's, you know, they're talking back and forth. Then he, like, confronts him about the Bohemian Grove. He's like, so the Bohemian Grove, and he's like, yeah, that's just a place. It's for vacation. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, well, what about the he names the actual ceremony. I forget what it's called exactly, but he names it to him. He's like, oh, I don't know about that. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, I was there. I filmed it. Blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, you're the guy that did it? He's like, that was really rude. And, like, the guy gets super pissed at Alex. It's freaking hilarious. But it's like,
that's crazy.
Dang, why you gotta be so defensive about it, dude? It's just like it's
that is
crazy.
Weird.
It is weird. It's
even weirder that it's just all guys.
So what's the deal, guys?
Yeah.
If you're in the Bohemian Grove, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what's up. We're curious.
Yeah.
So.
And if I could get that invite.
Yes, we'll go. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
And we'll keep the secrets. We won't talk about it.
I'm still waiting. Also, I'll do the Illuminati. I'm down for that. Aliens, if they want to come abduct me or whatever they do.
They probe you, dude.
I'll take the probe. But listen, there's got to be, like, there's got to be a contract. Like, I assume if you're in the Illuminati, you're set for life. The problem with the Illuminati, I read about it, is that you have to have value for them to want you. So
yeah, that's true.
Much out.
I like what J. Cole said about it. He's like, Illuminati. He's like, they're not interested in young black millionaires. They're more interested in billionaires, white guys. Yeah. So, in one of his songs. So.
Yeah. So like Jay-Z.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. I'm like, oh yeah, why would they be like? I think when it comes to the music stuff and the Illuminati, I don't believe almost any of it, honestly, if I'm being honest. No. Just because it's way too obvious. It's like a music...
See, that's what I'm saying, though, dude.
I know that's what you're saying.
They blast you with all that nonsense, and then they're like, then this is the exact reaction they want you to have.
Is it, though?
Like, I don't believe it because it's too obvious.
It's like
they're
inserting triangles into every spot they can find, and just for like, for me personally, I believe that they do that for people like these conspiracy theorists to make a bunch of videos on it and have a bunch of people check it out. Yeah, exactly. And it's just a ploy to make more money for the record companies and stuff. Like, they're like, oh yeah, people are talking about this, and they get started with the Beatles and their whole thing.
Yeah.
Like putting secret stuff in their songs just to get people to talk. And I mean, that's just me personally, and I may be wrong. Who knows?
No, we are for sure wrong. The podcast is called Idiot Savants. Come on, guys. Don't take it too seriously.
We always have to go back to that. That's our fallback. If someone like tries to like talk crap about it, it's like, hey, we never claimed to be super smart and intelligent. We just
it's just things we think about.
Yeah, we're thinking about it. We're discussing it.
I'm ready to join though. So
my beliefs.
Here's the value I
isn't
have.
Ironclad, man. I can be changed.
Let me sell the value.
All right, so
it myself.
Okay.
I'll do whatever it takes. Dear Illuminati, I will be a servant to you. Love, sincerely yours, Nate Fontes. Hit me up.
You've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, on the record.
So
I was thinking about an interesting thing that we used to do.
Freaking neck, soon.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a tattoo of a triangle on his neck in a couple weeks. Yeah. Why'd you get that, Nate? Oh, I just liked it.
Yeah, no big deal.
All right,
you don't have a tattoo. Yeah, I just figured I'd start. It's my first one. All right, segue here.
Okay, jump.
Actually, not a segue. Topic change.
Okay.
You remember youth conventions?
Yes.
Do you remember the youth conventions where we used to box each other?
Yes. Can you explain to our audience that don't know what youth convention is? Go.
We were something of like the bad group. I don't know why. I think like the Jeffersonville church was way worse than us, but we were like we dressed different than they did, and
let's back it up a little more than that.
Okay, where at?
We gotta explain what our group was and why we would go to Jeffersonville.
Oh, it's the Illuminati.
Just for people who don't know what church we were talking about or anything. Just kind of like,
all right,
nutshell it real quick.
We were in a Pentecostal church.
Yes.
And every year we'd go to a youth convention.
Which is like a
and so all the youth in the organization, how many churches were there?
I would say
lots.
Well, yeah, like well over 50, maybe
at least 3 churches. So there was a lot. There was over 100. We had churches in many locations. So all those churches, all the youth groups would come to Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Yes.
And which is where the main church was, the Queen Bee. Mm-hmm. And it was like 2 days, 3 nights or something like that. Yes. And so it'd just be you'd meet a bunch of youth and you would do church. So and then after church we'd go back to the hotel, and that's when the real party started. Or we would go to the fellowship hall at the location. There was like another smaller church. We would go afterwards and we would eat and hang out until we went back to the hotel to go to bed.
Yeah.
And so you had the Mansfield branch and the guys that were there. It was us. So you had a bunch of people. I just remember like a couple really good years. It was like everybody that was in the band, Derek, Lance, Chris Workman, like Bobby's brothers, Matt, my brothers, and then obviously a bunch of girls. We had, I'd say we probably had like 20 plus people, maybe 20 people, 15 to 20 people.
Yeah.
Anyways, we were always looking for we were always trying to do the dumbest things. And looking back on it now, we were just like, what were we thinking? I don't even know. There was one game we would play where we would did we put the hacky sacks in the sock and hit each other with them?
Yep.
Yeah. Or we threw hacky sacks at each other's back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
both of those. We did both of those. We did both.
We were relentless. I remember one year, I hate to bring this up because it's a sour subject. Myself and Chris Bodorf put Nair in Derek's hair.
A whole bunch of it. Overnight.
So I remember we put an absurd amount of laxatives in one of the drinks of one of our compatriots.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not proud. These are not proud things. I'm just giving you context. And we would put ice in each other's beds. Just hijinks.
Yes.
Just tomfoolery.
Absolutely.
But then we amped it up a little bit and we started sparring. And this is Chris.
We amped it up every year. It was built on top of the craziness from the previous year. And we were, just to insert, we just wanted to be the craziest group of guys. We wanted to be the rebels of the organization. Continue.
So Chris Workman and probably Chris Bodorf got us into sparring.
Yes.
And the rules were very simple. You could hit anywhere but the groin and the face.
Right.
And that year, we pretty much got the majority of the youth groups on board with that. We started a fight club.
Yep.
It's true. If you're still wondering, yes, this is a church. This was a church event.
This was a Christian organization. Like I said, we were just rebels. For some reason, we had that streak in every one of us. We were we need to be the biggest and the baddest.
Now I will say, the fight that I remember, was me versus another very influential person in my life. It's just a mountain. This dude's 7 feet tall.
Oh yeah.
Just used to play baseball. He's a brute, but he supported us from the beginning.
Absolutely.
He supports us to this day.
Absolutely.
He's always the nicest person you'll ever meet.
Right.
That man's Bobby Bass.
Bobby Bass.
Hopefully he doesn't hate us for saying that, but
nah, he won't.
Yeah, I remember who wants to box Bobby? And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever.
Did you think you could survive? Maybe is that why you did it?
I knew that I was gonna get beat. This dude's probably at this point, he was he was probably 2 feet taller than me. I don't know.
That's my guess. At least 1.5 feet.
Yeah.
Or 2 feet taller than Nate.
And he used to play. Huge. He's an athlete. He still looks like an athlete. He's still
a real athlete. Not
a real professional athlete. This guy could do some serious damage to a baseball, and to a body, apparently. I just remember getting one punch in, and then that was it. He pretty much just went to work on me, just a rock'em sock'em robot. And
I was not there for this. I heard about it later.
Yeah, I will say I got one hit, and I'm real proud of that. I make sure I tell that part of the story because
oh boy,
that was the only hit I got. But yeah, I mean, we were crazy every year, hitting people with belts, just nonsense.
Yes, I mean,
getting in trouble all the time though. We weren't just out there, it wasn't Lord of the Flies out there just governing ourselves. Yeah, pretty close.
I don't know why we were like that. Why?
Yeah.
Is it because my dad was our pastor and he was kind of young and was kind of cool back then?
I referenced your dad as the Justin Bieber of CGC.
I guess.
I said it the other day. I didn't mean it. What I mean by that is like
he relates
it was
to young
just
people.
he was like he was cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's good looking. Still is. Mm-hmm. Still both of those things, by the way. He doesn't age.
He's getting a little gray.
And again, another person that supported us through everything. Despite what, like, all the noise that he was getting from everyone else, he supported us. So,
he let us play in his church, for crying out loud. We're a hardcore band.
We're up there just screaming
and going nuts. And he's letting us play in his church, which is not even the coolest churches nowadays will let that happen, you know? Yeah. So, I don't know. We were always different for some reason.
But he was a young pastor, so he was always he did the couple of youth conventions that we went to. He was actually leading the youth convention, so that kind of gave us like the we're better than everyone type, or like not that, like we're untouchable rather, like we can do whatever we want, right? So, and I'm sure it probably prevented him from maybe doing a lot of those, but I know they were always a lot of work. He always talked about them being a lot of work, but I will say that just now living close to that church, I've heard people say that we were not as popular as we thought we were.
I mean, I've heard both.
Yeah. I will say, I remember the one year we all wore jean jackets.
Yep.
And then all the girls started wearing jean jackets.
Mm-hmm. So we started trending with the ladies. What up?
Yeah. So we're like, oh, you're going to wear our jean jackets? We're going to wear your jeans.
Yeah. We wore cheap jeans. I still do to this day.
I mean, now you can buy men's jeans that are slim fit. But this was before. We wore them before they became a fashion.
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Bernie and I used to work at Hollister.
And ahead of the curve, man. That's what we were. There's no reason to be ashamed of how cool we were, Nate. Come on.
Yeah. Bernie and I used to work at Hollister, so we always were trying on
Dare I say we stole pants. Just because we could.
Yeah. No.
But
I do remember us showing up to work without shirts, and then they just gave us shirts, and we took them.
Yeah. I would show up
we don't have a shirt to wear.
I would show up in black band t-shirts, and they're like, you shouldn't wear that. Here, put on this shirt.
Put on this flannel. Yeah,
you need to look more, because we were like hardcore kids. Right? No, dude, we're punk rock, dude. Well, I'll show up to Hollister with a band shirt, and they're like, dude, put on a flannel or something. I'm like, yes, shirt. That's what that means.
Yeah. Oops, I accidentally took it home.
Oopsie.
Oopsie doopsie.
But yeah, I mean, in retrospect to all that, my dad he had a heart for young people, for the youth, and he still does to this day, I can say.
Yeah.
He's still a pastor, if y'all are wondering, too.
Yeah. Still good looking, still smart, still funny.
Wow. Why don't you give him a reach around, Nate?
All right. I'm getting on the next flight out. See ya.
Nice. That's hilarious. Hey, you mind if we take a small break?
Yeah.
All right. Wanting to refill. We're sponsored by Dos Equis.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah. You're doing it wrong again.
Dang it! I knew it.
Every time.
They're supposed to give us money first, then we. Okay. We're not sponsored by Dos Equis yet. We will be.
Not yet.
Keep an eye out. So you listen to Miley Cyrus?
I did, that new CD, yeah. Or just the 3 songs or whatever that she has. And I liked it.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. It was, it is different, and I like it. But I see what you're saying about, like, it's a different type of pop, different style.
Right. I was hoping you'd like it. I just like it. It's just a change of pace. It's shifting. That popular sound that's out right now, I hate it. But she's like trying to do something different. I like it.
Yeah.
I like Miley Cyrus, guys. Don't hate me.
Did you watch any more Ozarks?
Oh, I didn't finish it. I'm on like the last 2 episodes. Last 2.
Oh man,
dude, it's getting intense.
Good.
And I finally finished Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Oh my god! Like I finished it last night.
Very nice.
I finished it last night. And I was on the edge of my seat for the last 2 episodes. I was just like, this is so awesome. I was tripping.
Yeah, I liked it.
And then the last 10 seconds, not to spoil it, was just like, oh,
yeah,
or last minute or so was just.
I just assume you're talking about the scene with Emilia Clarke and Jon Snow's butt cheeks.
That was insane. And then like, so you know, y'all guys shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, your family.
So
spoiler.
Guys, sorry about that. But
listen, if you haven't figured that out by now, I just assume you're not going to watch it.
But the show is incredible.
Put Game of Thrones spoilers on the
right,
because we're going to talk about it because she's gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
You know what I realized? Not that I was keeping track. There wasn't a lot of nudity in that last season.
You're right. There's only like 2, maybe 3, like sex
I
scenes.
can only think of 1.
I can think of 2 other ones. They're earlier in the season.
Oh man, you watch it again.
But
there's really not that many females left.
Yeah, and you're right. They really cut down on. They pumped up the action with.
Yeah, and the story. Yeah.
And I'm not talking about sexual action either.
Until the very end. Spoiler.
Yeah. But no, that show was great. It blew me away this year. I have no complaints really.
All right, before next week, you need to finish Ozarks.
I got 2 episodes left. I'll be done by next week.
Text me when that last minute happens of the last episode.
The thing with Ozarks is just keeps getting worse and worse. And someone else comes along. Those are they call it spanner in the works or a monkey. They throw the wrench in the machine. The monkey wrench.
Birds' heads are falling off. Yeah, that's crazy.
Birds' heads are falling off. Petey.
Yeah, you know what that reminds me of is like The Revenant. Did you ever watch that with Leo?
Dude, yes. Love that show, too.
That movie never gets better. That movie never gets better for him. It always is progressively worse. Even to the end.
Yeah, he's like, I got a little redemption. Oh, well.
I watched that movie by myself in the theaters in the middle of the day.
Oh, I watched that movie.
I watch a lot of movies by myself, though.
I like watching movies by myself as well. You know what I hate watching movies like, though? You know those places that give you food in the theater?
And we don't have those around here, I don't think.
Well, here in Texas...
I've been to one before.
Here in Texas, they're everywhere. You can go to a movie theater, and, like, waiters and waitresses will come out and be like, what do you want to drink? What do you want to eat?
Yeah, that seems annoying.
It seems cool at first, but they do it throughout the whole movie, and it just distracts the hell out of me, and I hate it. I'm like, I can't stand it. It's like someone's always walking in front of me. It's a waiter talking to someone right in front of me. It's like, what do you want? You want another beer? You want another? It's like, get out of here! I'm trying to watch this stupid movie. You're taking me out of it. But, so I hate those places. Not that you can.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I've been to one, and it was weird. Mm-hmm. Usually when I watch a movie, it's me and, like, it's like an older couple.
Yeah.
And I sit right next to them, so they feel weird.
Yeah.
I don't. I sit by myself.
Yeah. I like going by myself as well, man. Nothing wrong with it. Some people hate it. It's like, what's wrong with that? Who cares?
I don't have any friends, so... No, I'm just kidding.
That's not true. I was like...
All my friends usually work, so... Like, my schedule's weird. Most of my friends are off on the weekends. I'm off during the week.
Right.
And while Crew's in school, I'm like, well, I'll just go see a movie while he's in school.
So, how you liking your boy being in school and you got a little free time sometimes? What do you do usually?
Well, I mow the yard once a week, so that's one of the activities.
I haven't done that in years. I don't know if that's like anymore.
Yeah,
I bet it's relaxing.
No.
No, you still hate it? Even when you get older? I hear you like start to like it eventually.
Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't take me very long. My yard's not that big, so I don't know if my neighbors, like if they're dead or if they've abandoned their house, but I mowed their yard last week because it was annoying me how long their grass was. Like it was affecting my view, so I mowed the yard for them.
You would do that. It's hilarious.
I think they're dead.
You should check on them. Go knock on the door.
Well, like their front window is busted out, but then it's like taped over.
Yeah.
But I also assumed the neighbor across the street from me had mass murdered his family because I only ever saw him, and then one day like 3 cops showed up to his house in an ambulance. But then now I see them again, so I guess they're not dead. I just assume there's always shady things going on in my neighborhood. I'm always watching. Just making sure.
You like live in the back corner, so they can get away with more things probably.
Yeah, I have a camera now on my front door, so I'm watching you.
Good.
I'm seeing what's going on.
So what else do you have on your list? I have a lot of things actually.
Yeah, I have a lot of things, but
which I think is good. I think that's a good thing.
Huh?
I think that's a good thing, man.
Yeah. Oh, another thing. Oh my God, dude. I like stand-ups, like comedy stand-ups. I think.
Okay. Okay, you got one to recommend?
Bro.
What?
It's been a long time since I've out loud laughed. It's a new thing I'm starting. Not laugh out loud. It's OLL. My sister made fun of me, and then her husband was like, OLL, like laugh out loud. And I was by myself in my house, and I couldn't stop laughing. So I probably way oversold this, but it's a very good stand-up, and it's this guy that's from Idaho. He's like standard white guy, but he's super funny, dude. It's so funny. He talks about... I'm going to butcher it, but he talks about like wanting to quit a gym. He's like, I tried to quit a gym. He says, no lazier sentence has ever been uttered. I tried to quit a gym. And he's like, I called them, and it's an unlisted number, and it directs you to some guy in a basement. And he says, we need you to come down. He says, I wonder what that meeting's going to be like. Yeah, I never come to this gym. Can I quit? And I don't know. He just goes on and talks about like how you have to, like some gyms, you have to write a letter to them saying you want to formally quit. And he's like, and I didn't understand because I didn't sign up for this gym during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War.
That's hilarious.
He's like, so I don't even know how to write a letter. I don't know how that works. So I don't know. His name is Ryan Hamilton.
Nice. Ryan Hamilton. I've heard that name.
Dude, I was losing it. I was laughing so hard.
I'll check him out. I'll check him out for sure. Ryan Hamilton.
Yeah, if you like comedy, it's seriously, comedy. It's great.
Okay.
But I don't know. I have pretty much got through everything. I had an annoying situation this week, and you can edit this out if you want. But this older couple. Came into work, and what I've noticed is that this couple was racist and they didn't even know they were being racist, but it was like so comical. And I say that because the people that they were being racist to, again, I don't think they knew, and I'll explain it in a second, you'll understand, they were laughing about it. And I was so embarrassed for this old couple because they didn't know what they were doing. So,
explain this.
Old white couple came into a place of work.
Okay.
And I'm talking to this Hispanic family.
Yeah.
And this old white lady comes up and goes, oh... She says his name. I don't know his name. I don't want to say a name because that would just be racist. But she says his name. She's like, oh, man, where have you been? We miss you so much. And, like, you could tell his wife and his mother are like, who is this old white lady talking to this guy who literally speaks, like, not He speaks English, not very good. Like it's definitely a translation barrier. Anyways, she goes, "Where have you been? We've missed you so much. Our yard hasn't looked the same since you stopped mowing it."
Oh God.
And so I'm like, oh dear, this is already going downhill quick.
Yikes.
And then like the wife hears her say that because she speaks like fluent English.
Yeah.
And she's like, she looks at me, and I look at her, and I'm like, and then we just watch. We just watch the rest of it.
That's
and
hilarious.
She's like, oh man. And then he says something to the effect of, I lost my help. I lost the people that were helping me. So I had to get a different job because I couldn't do it by myself. And then this old white lady looks at his wife and says, "Oh, you can't help him?" I'm like, oh dear. It's getting worse. We need abort button, abort, get out of here. She's like, oh man, God. I really wish it. Is there, can I pay you more and you can mow my yard? Like the only reason this lady is talking to this guy is because he mowed her yard. He was the landscaper for her.
Oh my gosh.
It was so uncomfortable, dude. And like once it ended, I was like, I literally looked at them I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't know what to tell you. That was weird. And they're like, oh, no, it's okay, it's okay. And they just laughed. They were just laughing. What else can you do? Because that lady didn't know.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Not that makes it okay, but I'm like.
No. But she doesn't know, though. That's basically it. It's so true.
Yeah.
Poor thing. She didn't know that she was being kind of offensive.
Yeah, super offensive. Maybe racist isn't the right word. That seems super harsh, but like definitely offensive.
A little bit offensive.
She said, "Oh, you can't help him?" Oh dear.
Come on. Get out there, mow the lawn.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. It's like our yards never look the same.
Poor thing. She doesn't know better. That's all it is.
What do you got? What's some last thoughts from you?
Well, I had a couple things that we can talk about next time. Let's just save it, dude. I had ghost stories, if you have any, and I have something we can talk about next week. Another thing I was going to bring up, which I'll save for next week as well, was, how last week we were talking about how I don't take hard stances on anything. Like I'm always trying to be in the middle. But there are a few things that I do take a hard stance on.
Okay. Hard stances with Bernie next week. Stay tuned.
Yes. I'll let you know what I really do care about, and I don't, I take a definite choice between.
Take notes, ladies.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Pardon me.
I'm trying to find the last question.
But yeah, those two things mainly will be some good ones to talk about. So, and hopefully, maybe not even next week, maybe the week after that, because I am going to try to get somebody like Josh. And if Josh can't do it,
we'll get your sister on here. Tell her.
You want her to go first? Okay.
Oh no, I'm saying if Josh can't do it or whatever.
Right. I'm saying. I was going to ask you who you want on if he can't make it for whatever reason.
All right, here's a good ending question.
Let's do it.
What's your favorite song to play in the car right now? Not favorite of all time, just right now. What are you jamming to?
I'm jamming a lot in my car by myself when no one else is with me. Is a Post Malone song.
Ooh, which one?
Congratulations.
Solid.
I don't know if
solid pick.
I don't know if you're a Post Malone fan or not.
Who isn't? He's great.
Hold on, let me give you a little sample. Like I could listen to that on repeat for some reason. And
good.
And to be honest, when I first heard him, I hated his guts. I'm like, this guy sucks. Has no talent. He's this, he's that. And people were like, no, dude, he's from Texas. He's from here in Grapevine, where I work. he's actually from there.
Yeah.
Like, I could care less where he's from. I don't like his music. All I heard was White Iverson, and I thought it was trash.
Yeah.
I was forced to listen to it for hours one night. It was New Year's, I think, a year or two ago. I was with some people who had that on repeat, and I was losing my mind because that's all they played. But
yeah, it's an okay song. It's not my favorite, but I like Broken Whiskey Bottle or whatever the first song is.
That's a good one.
Is it the first song?
Yeah, I think so. That's his first song on the album.
It's so good.
What turned my opinion around was I saw him on a couple podcasts of people that I like, and he's such a cool guy. I couldn't help but start to like him. And then I saw him do videos with some of my favorite YouTubers, and he's really funny. I was like, okay, this guy's funny, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put this in a nutshell. There's a lot to it. But and then what really sold it for me is I saw him do a Bob Dylan cover, and Bob Dylan's one of my favorite artists of all time.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I'll have to look it up.
He does this cover, and it's amazing. He's playing the guitar, and he's singing really, really well. I was so impressed. I was like, okay, this guy actually does have talent.
Yeah.
And then I heard congratulations. I'm like, all right, I'm a fan. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a super fan of Post Malone now. You sold me, Post. You son of a bitch. All right, how about you?
I mean, I'm still rocking out to this the Jay-Z CD, so it's pretty much.
But what song? You said what song by yourself?
Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, probably The Story of OJ.
The song's good.
It's such a good song. It's such a powerful message, but
yes, I agree.
It's a really good song.
I like
that one.
I like how there's not a real big hook on it. It's just straight flow mostly.
Yeah.
I like how simple it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's probably that album. If I'm not listening to that, then, I don't know. I usually throw it on shuffle, but I don't know. I don't have nothing weird right now. Just that Jay-Z CD is really good.
Keeping it true. Okay.
Yeah. You're a Kanye West fan, right? Yes.
Not a super fan, but I respect him, and I'm a big fan up until his last album.
It's another one that I love it now. I love it, but it's
too trap for me, man. It's like he tried to hop on that trend, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. I think
his
the more times
sucked.
I listened to it, the more I liked it. I mean, next week I'll ask you what's your favorite
Jay-Z, or not Jay-Z, but
maybe
Kanye album?
CD, yeah.
Oh, I can tell you that. I can tell you that right now.
What is it?
Do you want me to save it for next week and talk about it?
Yeah. We'll save it.
Put
it in the comments, guys. What's your favorite? What's the song you're listening to in your car?
Exactly. I have two Kanye albums that are tied for first for me, so.
All right, we'll save it for next week.
Put a little twist on it.
Oh, I know a song that I can listen to anytime in the car. It's Mercy by Kanye West. So good.
Okay. Wait, Mercy? Yeah. Which one is that?
Why? It is a weeping and a moaning and a gnashing of teeth. It is a weeping and a moaning. It's so funny. The reason I like that song is because it says, it is a weeping and a moaning and gnashing of teeth. And I remember I was kind of still in church when that came out, and they're like, oh my God. He's talking about the devil.
Of course he is.
No, I really like that song. That's a really good song. But yeah, in the comments, what song are you rocking to in the car?
Yeah,
relentlessly.
Yeah, and also don't forget to comment if you disagree with anything or if you do agree with something.
Yeah, Bernie's looking for a fight.
I'm actually not. I just want to see people comment and so I can laugh. And I won't. Mostly in my comment section on my Facebook, whenever there's an argument, I never participate. I just sit back and watch. I'm just like with popcorn.
Yeah.
Like, wow, these people are getting into it.
Yeah.
So that's how I roll. All right, man. Let's end this podcast.